How to prevent cells from printing in Excel. How can I prevent the contents of specific cells, or entire row or column, from printing in Excel, while keeping them visible on the screen when I'm editing the file? Ideally, I should be able to do this to cells in the interior of the spreadsheet, i.e., not just the rightmost columns or the bottom rows. Hiding rows or columns is not acceptable because I need to maintain the cell size to maintain the overall appearance of the sheet. I've looked for a way to define a conditional format that's conditional on whether Excel is currently printing, but there doesn't seem to be any such thing. I've been manually setting the text color to white before printing, and manually reverting it afterwards, but it seems there should be an automatic way of doing this.
When I needed to do what you're saying, what I would do is use the function in the code editor, VBA. To hide the columns or rows, do the printout, and then unhide them. Example. Or change the respective part to hide columns. This example hides columns B and D. Or hide all rows with a blank cell in column A. Links. Hide rows, columns, or cells when you print a sheet. Prevent printing of specific cells. How do I add VBA in MS Office?
You can apply normal, not conditional, formatting to achieve this. Select the cell, row, and/or column in question and go to Format Cells, which is accessible through the ribbon, Home, Cells, Format, or the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+1. On the Number tab, select Category is equal to Custom and for Type enter. Or simply. This tells Excel to display an empty string if the cell contains a positive number, negative number, 0 or non-numeric text. So any value that is not an error will be hidden on the screen and when printed.
If you're using Office 2010, under File, Print, Page Setup, Sheet tab, the setting for Print Area should be what you are looking for. In my example, only columns A, J will be printed, however, everything is shown when viewing on screen. This is what the dialog looks like. Click Image to enlarge. This may also be accessible as Page Layout, Page Setup, Corner Button, Page Setup, Sheet.
I solved the same issue by creating a separate sheet and copying a link to the information in there. To do this, highlight the whole of the original sheet and copy it, Ctrl+C. Go to the new sheet and right-click the first cell. Select the link icon in the Paste options. Everything pasted will be unformatted, so you'll have to correct this. Empty cells will contain zeros. This can be rectified by going to File, Options, Advanced, and unchecking the Show a Zero in Cells that have a zero value box. You can now delete any cells, rows or columns that you wouldn't like to appear on printouts. The print sheet will update as you update the original sheet. If, like me, you have a base sheet that you copy for different periods of time or purposes, you can create this print sheet for the base sheet. When you need a new pair, simply copy both sheets and the new print sheet will link to the new sheet.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.